What's up? What's up, everybody? How are you? Happy Wednesday. It's getting a little cold out here now, right? Like, wow, what's going on? Tomorrow's supposed to be a beautiful day. Mm, let's see. I know, like our parents used to say when we were younger, better put your keep your coats on and dress accordingly to the weather. Tonight, Real Talk Chronicles with my boy Rich Williams joining me. Uh, I hope everybody's having a beautiful day. It is the 22nd of February. Time is flying. I should have seen Rich this weekend, y'all. He was looking fly as dapper as a mother. That was real shaft all day. What's up, Rich? How you feeling, brother?
Oh man, what's up, bro?
Hey, nothing. How you feeling today?
I'm good, man. I'm good, man.
Good, good, good. I'm trying. I just sent you something. I know you probably wouldn't get a chance to see it. Let me just go through the sponsors. Shout out to everybody that's watching. Subscribe. Um, Always subscribe to Real Talk because we give you the real talk. Uh, Soft Illusions Art Gallery. Also, too, if you need your website, my wife does her design interaction. Daily Arts of Survival magazine, #1 martial arts magazine in the country. Check that out, please, anytime. Ingram Taxes. Got to look for Ingram Taxes. They do their thing. Melba Wilson and Reggie Wells Quality Speakers and Leon Ellis Chocolat. Good evening, Sharon. Loving God, salute. How are you? Shout out to everybody that's chiming in. We appreciate it. Rich and I are going to get it in tonight when Rich comes back. He disappeared for a second. I guess he'll be back in a minute. If there's anything that you want to discuss tonight, please just let us know. Chime in. We're more than happy to talk about it with you and try to give you the best we can, our expertise. Um, was a device not connected. Rich, you're not connected. Hopefully, you got to come back, Rich. Um, so, hope you all had a wonderful day. I did. Uh, I have something I want to show you. Let's see. I'm going to show you, too. Matter of fact. Hey, Stefania, how are you? If there's anything, like I said, anything, Vera with the wonderful last name, how are you? If there's anything you guys want to talk about, we'll cover it the best we can. And I'm just trying to set up all the devices because I got a lot. I always don't ever want to miss a comment or a statement from any of you all. So I will make sure that everybody is hooked up and ready to rock and roll. Now, yeah, we're good. I got Rich back. What's up? Okay, there he is. That's my man. He's here, ready to rock and roll with me. So I'm going to show you some. Well, Rich, is there anything that you want to cover tonight?
I mean, I sent you a couple of videos,
Right.
this week, but
Yeah, definitely did. I have a video I'm going to show everybody tonight. Uh, I'm going to show it the best way I can. I didn't have time to have Malika hook it up and set it up, so I apologize for that. But I'm going to hold it to the screen. In Indianapolis is coming to trial now. A man was shot 30 times in his vehicle. I'm just going to give you a brief synopsis of the case. He was visiting he was sleeping in his rent a car that he had because his car was in the shop, and his grandmother called and said, "Listen, um, Stefania said, hey, Mr. Rich, Mr. Choice and Chance, absolutely, there he is. He was sleeping in his car. Matter of fact, let me just show it to you. Of course, put a disclaimer. They're going to show the shooting, so you guys can see this. I'm going to hold it to the screen. I apologize for the unprofessional way I'm going to do it, but you'll get a chance to see it. Hold on.
30 times. Cops shot boys alive. Here's the video.
Turn if you don't want to see it.
Yeah, leave it right there.
He's got a gun right on his lap. He's got a gun right on his lap. Do you want to go try to open this door and grab it? It's locked. Let's go ahead and wake him up. I'm going to stand right here. Chandler, if he falls on that gun, it goes in. Yeah. You knock? Police department! Police! Put your hands! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Get on the ground!
Get on the ground, baby. Okay,
Holy crap. Come.
that's my grandson.
Where you hit, man? Guys, hold on. You guys got to get me up. Right, here, let's go. Hey, get my medikit.
I'm so sorry, baby.
It's okay. Because I didn't want to wake you guys up.
Oh.
You guys got to give me your business. He posed no threat. He was at his grandmother's house. He was waiting in the car because he didn't want to wake them up. It was late. Grandmother may have been asleep. The grandmother's torn up because she's the one that called the police, thinking police come to help. She was unsure. But even in her call, she indicated it could be. It could be my family. Put up the picture full mass here. The police are destroying families in more ways than one. Imagine how the grandmother feels. 24-year-old Anthony Macklin was shot by the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police. They shot at him at least 30 times after they responded to a 911 call made by his grandmother. Her name is Vicky Driver. This actually happened December 31st, 2022. This was around 4 a.m. She saw a vehicle idling in a driveway, startled her, so she called the police. According to a recently filed lawsuit, Macklin was fired upon and hit 3 times because of a gun on his lap. Not a gun in his hand, not a threat to officers, not even an attempt to grab the gun. The gun was just simply in his lap. But his attorneys say the body cam footage never shows the gun in Mr. Macklin's hand. Macklin was in the hospital for 17 days, underwent 6 surgeries for wounds to his thighs and back. He'll be out of work for a minimum of 3 months. It could be more. Let me give you details of the incident. Mr. Macklin was visiting from Ohio, according to his attorneys, and had rented a car that police said had Florida plates. His car was being repaired in Indianapolis. Anthony planned to surprise his grandmother the next morning and take her out for breakfast before picking up his car at the dealership, the claim states. While making the call for help, driver also allegedly informed the dispatcher that she didn't know if it's one of her kids or not, providing very important information that should have been part of the record to the officer. An officer ran the plate and verified the driver. She did not have family from Florida. The release says officers intended to open the door and quickly grab the firearm, but the doors were locked. All right, doors were locked. Let's just go ahead and shoot them. We had a plan, but the doors were locked. So we had no choice but to just all shoot him. They shot in that damn vehicle over 30 times, multiple officers. The man is alive. Could be dead, obviously. Naturally, they wanted him dead. Who shoots like that unless they want you dead? There's more. It's unclear, based on the edited footage, how long officers actually probed the situation. But I will remind you of the white woman who was inside of a hospital, shot her husband, shot at the ceiling, And the police arrived and they said, what did the cop say? We have all day. Please stand back, everybody. We have all day. Ma'am, tell us what's going on. How can we help you? She already killed somebody. The hospital staff, they're already gone, but she's shooting up the hospital, and she was apprehended. She was apprehended. The officer told the other officer, stand down. One cop said, I got it. I got a shot. He said, stand down. We have all day. That kind of courtesy is not extended to black men. The department said Mr. Macklin had moved his arm. Uh-oh. Black man moving his arm. Moved his arm toward the officers before they opened fire. But noted, it wasn't clear if the gun was in his hand and that there was no indication that he fired any rounds. You see, right there is a chargeable offense for the officers. Why? Because in order for them to justify a shooting, they must believe their life is in imminent danger. Not possibly. The officers had no justification whatsoever to use force on Anthony. Macklin's attorney wrote in a tort claim sent to the city on Monday. Anthony never picked up his handgun. He never pointed it at officers. He never threatened the officers. He was not breaking any laws. Mr. Macklin also had his license to carry issued right there, July 2016. The state of Indiana also now no longer requires a license to carry a handgun, but he got one. Additionally, Mr. Macklin's lawyer raised authenticity questions surrounding the released body cam footage from police. They claim police only told Mr. Macklin, raise your hands, just as officers began to shoot at him. However, in the released body cam, officers yelled, police, hands up, simultaneously for roughly 7 seconds before opening fire. Officers Lucas Riley, Alexander Gregory, and Carl Chandler have now been placed on administrative leave while being investigated. The family says they want the officers involved to be fired and to face criminal charges. I am echoing the sentiment of that family. They found the thoughts here.
Yeah, I mean,
What's your thoughts, Rich?
I apologize.
What's my thoughts?
Do it, but you'll get us chances.
Listen, man, this has been my argument from day one, man. You know, I know Cap gets in on it. He wants to beg to differ, you know, and all of that shit. But, you know, black folks, like the brother said, are not extended the same courtesy of discretion when it comes to us. Black man move, gun or no gun, his ass is getting shot.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, where, and it doesn't matter what color the cop is.
Right.
You know? The cop is blue. And the whole thing is this whole mentality that's in law enforcement long before black people get involved, meaning join the force. That whole system is already in place. You know, that system is designed from day one to keep black folks in check. That's it. That's what it's designed for, to keep us in check. I mean, moving forward, they try to modify it and do things the way it's supposed to be done, but it's so entrenched and it's so the shit is so deep in the culture of policing that there's subliminal messages all around you as law enforcement, you know, to do it this way. You know, you're being protected. If you fuck up and shoot a motherfucker allegedly by mistake, you know, there's shit in place on how to cover that shit up. To this day, you know, I mean, it's starting to get old and weathered, but it's still there. And it's time for people to realize that they're in position to make that change. I think last week you showed the video. I believe it was last week you showed that video of a cop. Or did I send it to you? It was a cop that they were inside the courthouse.
Yes.
And the kid's son got killed by this dude that got sentenced.
Yep.
And they gave the motherfucker a little or no time.
Yeah.
And the father was like distraught. He was like flipping, like, yo, fuck this. Blah, blah. So they demanded they leave the courtroom. On the way out, one of the white court officers tried to put hands on him. And it was a black officer that had to restrain him.
Yeah.
I mean, physically restrain the other cop to leave this man alone.
Yeah.
But that's the kind of cop that we need. That's the kind of officer that we need. That's willing to say, man, nah, fuck that. You're not doing that shit.
Yeah.
And the more of them we get, that's how we can stop this shit. At least put a big fucking hole in it. But it has to happen from that angle. I mean, most we can hope for is a fucking lawsuit, some money.
Yeah. I
mean, we ain't gonna get no real justice, but they'll give you a couple of dollars, and that shit is par for the cause because all the motherfuckers they incarcerate work as slave labor.
Yeah.
They get money to pay for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so what? We fucked up. We got 110,000 motherfuckers working for peanuts. Let's give them a piece of that money. Yeah. And we'll still keep policing the same way because we'll find a way to get them. If we don't get them now, we'll get them later.
Right, right.
His ass gonna wind up in jail. If not him, his kids.
Something. Now, let me show you guys something else. Get your thoughts on that. Well, we'll come back to this one too, but I just want to show you something else. Let's see. Let me see if I can do it.
The doors were locked.
So that's not it.
We had no choice.
Okay.
But here, no matter just
wait a
shoot
minute.
him. They shot.
Hold on. Here it is. No, this is not it. Oh, excuse me. Give me a minute, everybody. Trying to make sure I find it. I really want to show this to you all. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Richard Williams. And we're just talking about things that are happening. How do we differentiate between how they treat us and the way they treat us? You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is enough sometimes. Like, all we want sometimes is the same, just equal treatment, right? That's all. Equal treatment. Okay, here it is. I got it. Bless you.
Hands. Let me see your hands. These hands in your pockets. Turn the chains right a bit.
Excuse me.
Being detained, bud.
Well, what am I doing?
Take your backpack off.
Can you explain what this is?
Before you go on the ground, take your backpack off.
I'm going to get picked up for work. Sir.
The chains behind your back.
This is my phone. Are you trying to move the house?
You're being detained for a minute. You're matching the description of someone trying to break into people's cars.
I'm not breaking anyone's car. Sir.
You dumb bastard.
Oh, please help me. Shut the up.
Get up.
Going to work.
Let me see your hands. Let me see your hands. These hands in your pockets. Turn the chains right a bit.
Excuse me.
You're being detained, bud.
Well, what am I doing?
Take your backpack off.
Can you explain what this is?
Before you go on the ground, take your backpack off.
I'm going to get picked up for work. Sir.
The chains behind your back.
This is my phone. Are you trying to move the house?
You're being detained for a minute. You're matching the description of someone trying to break into people's cars.
I'm not breaking anyone's car. Sir.
You dumb bastard.
Oh, please help me.
Yeah. It doesn't stop. Listen, I want you all to listen to this. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm giving it to you this way, the best way I can. I apologize, but I want you to hear. Michelle said there are 7 more Memphis PD and another EMS being investigated out here for Tyree. Thank you for telling us that. Keep us abreast, Michelle, what's happening. Norm says, even with body cam, there are a lot of officers getting off. Even with evidence of camera, we are worth more dead. Listen to this. Yeah, I just got to listen to this.
In the case where child abuse is fatal, obviously it's not good for the child, but it's actually a benefit to society because there aren't needed for government services and whatnot over the whole course of that child's life.
Through the chair, can you say that again? Did you say a benefit for society?
Talking dollars. Now you've got
Yes.
a $1.5 million price tag here for victims of fatal child abuse. It gets argued periodically that it's actually a cost savings because that child is not going to need any of those government services that they might otherwise, be entitled to receive and need based on, growing up in this type of environment.
Through the chair, Representative, I guess that would be the idea, if I can use a really bad analogy, when you hit somebody, always back up because it's cheaper to insurance. I don't pertain to that, and I'm really, I'm not even sure how to answer that there's a cost saving to the death of a child. The impact that has on a family and us as a society when a child is lost, especially to child abuse and neglect, is unmeasurable. And it's hugely tragic.
Yeah, follow up. And the way that you're calculating this 1.5 million, and when I say you, I mean the people who did calculate it, does that 1.5 million get higher or lower depending upon the age at which the child is killed?
So again, there's multiple factors, and a number can definitely increase, but again, I don't believe it's going to matter if they're older or younger. Again, a loss of a child is really unmeasurable.
In the case.
Now, what kind of crazy stuff is that, bro? Look at the thought process of a person sitting, right? Sitting on a legislator or court, and they say something like this.
But they're not talking about any child. They're talking about our children.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the fact that they can just openly have that kind of conversation in a forum like that, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is in the room? Who the fuck is in that room?
Yeah. Yeah.
Just letting that shit just fly like this is what it is. But the truth is, that's what it is.
That's the thought process. That's what it is. That's the thought process. How terrible is that? How terrible is that?
But it's not so much how terrible is that. What the fuck can be done about some shit like that? I mean,
how is a person not even just like thrown out of his seat or whatever he is? How is he not like, this is your mindset that you feel that way and you can just come out and say it and feel like it's all right to say it?
No, but you know what it is, Bill? I mean, a lot of it for me is for something to be going on like that shit today, still going on today, right? And we're supposed to be at a level of being conscious of all this shit. And to let it just continue to happen without some kind of revolt, without some kind of pushback on a large scale. I mean, like that whole thing when George Floyd got killed and the whole nation was mobilized all over the country and they was tearing shit up. I mean, literally tearing shit up. But then you had some so-called black leaders out there trying to stop it, saying that that's not going to work, in 1865, 63, the Irish in this country, specifically New York City, were the lowest class. They were lower than black people when they came over here from Ireland. Because you had black guys in New York, people in New York that were working. They were getting them the lowest of wages, but they were working and they were free. And when the Irish came here, there wasn't nothing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And they formed the first mafia. They were the ones that formed the first underworld in this country.
Right, right.
In New York City. And when the Civil War broke out, some of them, in order to get some kind of work, went to the service. They enrolled in the army. But they needed more than that. They didn't really want black people taking up guns, shooting white people. So they put on the draft, which was the first draft in the United States, was in New York City in 1863. And they put all the Irish on there. And I'm saying this because I'm trying to get to this point that what happened because of that draft, the Irish went in New York City and said, fuck that, we not going. And they looted and burned and killed every black person they could find. They burnt this whole fucking city down. The United States government had to send soldiers back from Gettysburg to stop the 7-day riot. And they sent back the Irish troops to stop their own people. And when they did that, they formed the police department and the fire department and the unions that rebuilt the city. And they were all Irish. And if you think about it, most recently, all of the police commissioners, fire commissioners, and unions were ran by Irish.
Right, right.
So the mindset in this city, and I'm just talking this city, New York City, policing is done to police black folks. Because those same motherfuckers that burnt this shit down and tore this shit up, they put them in power. Why? Because they showed a sense of unity and strength that they not going for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're going to tear this shit up if we don't get something.
Yeah.
So from those riots, they got sanctions. They got, here, all right, y'all can be the cops. Y'all can be the fire department. Matter of fact, rebuild the city back,
Yeah. Yeah,
so
man.
from that violence, they got something out of it. Now we running around and we trying to create a similar scenario. We not going for it.
Yeah.
But what do we get? We get like, why are you burning down your community? Why are you doing that? Why, look at these thugs. Look at these hoodlums. Look at these motherfuckers, They're just doing that because they want to do it. They're just doing it because it's an advantage of breaking into a store and stealing a TV and all that type of shit.
Yeah, yeah.
The frustration that's going to come out. It's going to come out, and that's why you got all of these white folks that's in the suburbs and in Wisconsin and all of Utah. They got bunkers. These motherfuckers in states that got carrying licenses, and they teach their kids how to use these weapons because they anticipate this shit boiling over. Because the biggest fear of white folks when it comes to letting black folks have equality is that we won't forget what these motherfuckers did to us.
Yeah.
And they feel like that because they thinking what they would do. They like, if some niggas had me like this for 400-500 years and did what we did to them, and I hate to say, here's the gun, nigga. We cool?
Yeah. It's so funny.
They feel like that. They don't say it, but they feel like that. There's no way in the world we can let these niggas get any kind of leg up on us because they gonna pay us back.
Yeah, yeah. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with Richard, my co-host, Richard Williams. Shout out to everybody chiming in. I see you coming in. Vanessa said the value of human life, especially ours, is at an all-time low. It amounts to dollars and cents. We have become so desensitized on this issue and so many others. We are losing our humanity. My man Sharon said, this is sick. We will always equate to money for them. You know, it's a sad thing. Shout out my man Naquan Murphy. He says, call savings. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I mean, just to hear that thing. It's very disturbing. You know, we've come so far and yet so far to go. Norm says, everything Rich is saying is right. I think we as Blacks don't have any leadership to address the problems. Yeah. You know, who do we speak of? You know, we've evolved in such a way, even like from law enforcement, just, you know, to see so many different ethnicities of color in positions. You know, we have a Black mayor that's trying to do his thing. You know, we have a lot of city council people, I'll say city council people of color in certain positions, but it still doesn't stop the masses from doing certain things and how the thought processes of us. And it's a shame that people still look at us as, you know, hey, you know, you're just an in. You know what I'm saying? Michelle said, did you hear about the legal return on Jim Crow in Jackson, Mississippi? No, I didn't hear about that. Please don't have me bring you in to tell us that. If you feel like type it in so I can read it. No, but I didn't hear that. Shout out to everybody, no matter where you're chiming in. Sylvia, I know you're abroad. Vanessa, you're probably abroad. Norman, I know you're in another place. So shout out to everybody. Vaughn, I see you. You're in DR. Shout out to all of you. Walter, my man, I think you're in the South somewhere. Shout out to everybody. Please be careful. The South is even in bad. You know, when you hear about a story about a man that's got shot 30 times and had the right to have a gun. You know, this is where, from my standpoint, I'm looking like, okay, we're in the right to sending the article. Oh, type it in and I'll or text it to me. Oh, however you can get it to me. You're in a right to carry state. And your first thought process, and the man is asleep, your third thought process is to open fire. You know what I'm trying to say? Maybe he fell asleep with his gun. Like we don't get the benefit of a doubt to say he has his gun, he fell asleep. You know what I'm trying to say? The first thing they're thinking is perp. Now, in the 911 calls, the mother says it might be one of my family members. You know? So now we're doing a wellness check. If I say it might be one of my family members, that's a wellness check. That automatically makes it a wellness check. If I say there's a person in a car and he's asleep and I don't know who he is, you proceed with caution. It still doesn't mean you kill, but now you got to find out who he is. When anybody knows, when you wake up from a stupor, you sleep, you're not waking up talking about, hey, fellas, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? You're groggy. You're waking up incoherent.
Especially with a flashlight in your face.
Absolutely. So, I mean, these are just the sad things that we see. Thank you, Michelle. I'm going to try to click on that and see what that says. It's very disheartening. Like Vanessa said, DeSantis doesn't want African-American history taught in the schools in Florida. He is banning it from being taught. It all centers around strengthening the element in case of us demanding reparations. What do you think about that, DeSantis? And is he trying to run for VP? He's running
for president.
He's running for president. Now, what the hell? Anybody in their right mind would vote for this dude. You know what I'm trying to say?
Because you got like-minded dudes like that.
Yep.
Wants to do that.
That's crazy.
This country is full of like-minded people. Even the ones that on the surface will say to you, will sit here with it, will come on something like this and speak against it, but walk into that voting booth where ain't nobody looking and go click.
Yeah, yeah.
That's how Trump got elected.
Yeah, yeah.
All that shit that Trump did, they were saying that his chances for being president was basically nil. Motherfuckers went into that booth and said Trump and came out and said fuck Trump.
Yeah. Stefania said he's running for VP. And the fact of it is, there will be people that will literally, like you said, Rich, that will vote for them.
She said he's running for what?
VP with Trump.
You can't run for VP. You get selected.
I guess he's throwing his hat in the ring and saying,
nah, he's running for president, dog.
Oh, okay. All right.
Already him and Trump is going back and forth at it. You know, Trump saying shit about him, you know, he trying to bust him upside his head and put him in check, you know, because he wants to have that nomination. But DeSantis is running for president. You don't run for VP. Mm-hmm. You get tapped on the shoulder, said, this is the person I want to run with me.
Right.
And you get added to the ticket.
Yeah.
Now, the whole thing about this whole shit is we get so caught up in planning whatever we're going to do around how white people will feel about it. You know, what is our white brothers and sisters going to feel about us fighting against this system by any means necessary? And they want to play a part in it, you know, because they need to be in a position to control both narratives. They're the cause of it, and they want to be the part of the solution. There's money in chaos. Every time a motherfucker gets arrested wrongfully or justly, and these situations have been created where the only way this man or woman could make a living for himself is by doing some dirty shit that was stuck right in their face. They'll say, no, you can't work, but hey, you can sell these drugs. You know, we're not going to invest money in the school system, but we'll invest it in prisons and group homes. You know, it's literally the chairs and the supplies that they use in schools are made from prisons.
Mm-hmm.
They do surveys on how many kids are dropping out or failing out to determine how many more cells they need to build. I mean, they anticipate this whole shit is put in place to keep that machine going. Shit ain't no happenstance shit. This shit is put in place for those very reasons. You go to public schools, they're teaching you anything that reflects your culture. They're not telling you that you were born in greatness. Black History Month will come up, and science teachers won't have no black people listed as being inventors or anything. You know? Right.
Yeah, it's so funny. Sylvia said it's a shame when I hear what this clown is talking about. It's crazy. Yeah, everybody's saying, yeah, he's trying to run for pres, Stefania.
Same thing they said about Trump.
Yeah, Nick Wan said, yeah, what's it? Well, we said we would vote for Trump, but what happened? We wouldn't vote for Trump. Exactly. Loving God said, everyone has made mistakes. The question is, do we learn from our mistakes or keep projecting those behaviors as acceptable? I understand that statement, but what do you mean is it in pertaining to
what mistakes?
Yeah. What mistakes? And who are you referring those mistakes to, loving God? So we said those idiots are voting for DeSantis. Exactly. Vanessa said he wants to be president and Trump will back him. Yeah.
Trump's not backing him. Trump's trying to become president. He's actually fighting against DeSantis.
Wow. Sylvia also said, because Sylvia, I think you're in Florida, right? You said they're taking Black history out of schools and they will arrest teachers that will try to teach it. Wow. You know what's so funny? That's crazy. I'm a Black man. I'm a teacher. of course, my conversation, I'm going to talk something historical in pertaining to my own ethnicity. So that would be educating people on Black history. So now I get arrested for that. You know what? I have seen in groups where they've said, oh, they said something pertaining to how they'll say a liberal conversation. And the guy was like, I went up to school. Don't be teaching my kids anything like that. Yo, listen, the hate is real. If it ain't think it, talk. If don't talk like I think, then don't say it. I don't want to hear it. You know what I'm trying to say? It's crazy.
Bill, you know what it's teaching also? It's not just teaching Black history. It's teaching white history.
Right.
So just like our stuff is taken out of the books. It's taken out of the books because in order to put it in there, you have to show what white folks is doing.
Yeah.
You know, all this make America great and white people being so right and all that shit. The atrocities that have been committed by white Europeans throughout the world. I don't care where you go. A footprint is on the neck of every culture, every colonization. I mean, every country of color they went to, they imposed their way of life and their society, their religion, everything on those people.
Yeah.
Civilization.
It's crazy.
People. You go to Egypt and Ethiopia, and then they steal the education. The Greeks, the Italians, the English, they go there and they steal all of this knowledge, claim it for their own, erase the history of who it really belongs to, and tells those people that they were savages.
Wow. It's crazy.
It's crazy when you think about it, but we live in a country where we're being educated by our oppressors. We're being taught by them about ourselves.
Norman asked us a question. He said, my brothers, what is the answer? What do you think the answer is, Rich?
The answer is we start investing in our own schools. You got the Chinese, you got the yeshivas, you got the Muslims. They got where they teach not just the curriculum, they teach in their culture. I mean, I think integration was the worst thing that could have happened to us in the public school system.
Maybe so now. Maybe so now. Yeah.
I mean, look at everything that we do as far as trying to be accepted by white folks, integrating under the phrase of integration, right? We wanted to be in the Major League Baseball. So what did we sacrifice? We sacrificed ownership of teams, ownership of stadiums, to have one or two players be a part of the white man's stadium. All of the black people that play professional sports, some of them get paid millions and millions of dollars, and some people cry about, oh, how that motherfucker not worth $250 million. If that owner can afford to pay him $250 million, this one $80 million, that one, how much is he making?
Yeah.
We don't have no ownership, sole ownership of no major sports. You know, to me, the best thing that Floyd Mayweather did was when he bought his contract out for $750,000.
Yeah.
He's the reason why HBO don't even have boxing no more.
That's right. Yeah, right.
Yeah. He told that dude, I remember that fight. Floyd fought somebody and he was on there talking about how Floyd was trying to disrespect Floyd in an interview. And Floyd said, man, you don't know shit about boxing. He said, man, get the fuck out my face.
I think it was what's his name? Jim, is it not Jim Lampley, it was the other guy. They gave him the business. Yeah.
Yeah, little old blonde head motherfucker. he had the audacity to say if he was 40 years younger, he would.
Yeah. I was watching it that night.
Floyd said, "I'm gonna take your job. You ain't even gonna be in boxing no more." And as a consequence, HBO don't even have boxing no more.
Yeah, it's all Showtime right now.
Yeah.
Let me read some comments, questions. She said, Bill, is that legal to do that, to arrest a teacher who teaches Black history? That's insane. Then who are we? Where are our history? How can that be? You know, Yolanda is crazy, because if that's what DeSantis, and that's what we're hearing, and that's what Sylvia is writing, and everybody is saying, that's what he wants. He does not want history, Black history taught. And if it's Black history, it's Latin history. You know what I'm saying? And it's just white history too. They don't want it taught in the schools. So so basically just
calling it woke history.
Right.
And
so basically it's like stay stupid.
Woke is Florida is where woke comes to die. That's what he said.
Wow.
I saw him say that.
Wow. That's crazy. Nick Wan said the illusion of inclusion. Absolutely. Loving God says persons are being persecuted and sabotaging their own honor, in that when they are in a position to be of assistance to the oppressed, they can be downplayed by a past mistake. Well, yeah, I think they bring up people of color's past faster than they bring anybody else, because you got to look at what's the dude, the Republican guy, George Santos? They didn't caught him lying about everything in
New York.
Yeah, the dude, in the name of God, and he's still in office, right?
Yeah, he's saying
and I don't understand how, like, there need to be some laws changed where somebody over him can be like, no, you got to leave, you got to step down. Dude doesn't want to step down.
He was able to stay there because Kevin McCarthy needed his vote to be.
Yeah.
He needed his vote to be the speaker. So he let him rock.
Yeah. So, Yolanda, Sylvia said that's what they're trying to make it a law. And Sylvia, what's your honest thought process? Do you think they're going to make it a law there? Do you think he's going to get enough votes for that to happen? Because Florida's a red state. So I don't know. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Forster, with my co-host, Richard Williams. And we're talking about a plethora of things. We're talking about injustice. You know, what can our people do to have equality? How do we better the relationships with law enforcement, with peoples and communities? Even though there's been an uptick in people of color, and when I say people of color, I'm always talking of Latin and Black on the job, but some are even in rank and power, but they're not the ones in the street implementing their police thought processes. Can't teach. I've always said this from the gate, and Naquan, Sylvia, Yolanda, we've all been in law enforcement. You can't teach a person how to look at you with equal eyes. That has to be something you can teach him to a sense of you'll lose your job. But if it's really not in your heart, then you're gonna always show a disparaging judgment. You're gonna write a ticket faster, or you're gonna be faster to make an arrest. You're not gonna be inclined to have discretion. You're not gonna give the person reason of a doubt. It's always gonna be no. Well, let the courts decide. Rich, you still with me?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, because I think your screen is frozen, but I still hear. Hate is taught. Exactly, hate is taught. I mean, we all shout out to O Sensei, Yush, legend in the martial arts, chiming in with us. It is it's always good when they show that little clip on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube, whatever, where the little black baby and the white baby are running to each other and they hug each other. But those are probably two parents that haven't taught hate, and those kids don't know hate yet. So it's a beautiful thing to see that. Kids play together all day, no matter what color they are. Absolutely. It's the parents that teach. Absolutely. I always go back to the movie American History X. Did you ever see that movie, Rich?
Yeah, I saw that with Ed Norton.
Yep. I think it was a very profound movie in the sense that it took, what's his name, Tory, to save his behind in the jails. And he saw how the teachings that they were taught were so lopsided and negative. You know, what are we going to do? That is the problem at hand. How do we solve this problem? You know, we can keep talking about it. Is it the lawmakers? Is it the people? Well, first and foremost, we're not in positions of power, right? Let's call it what a spade is a spade. I guess when we're in positions of power, we can't.
I don't agree with that, Bill.
No, oh, go ahead. Well, please elaborate. Mm-hmm.
I think we are in a position of power when we decide to spend our money within our own community and with each other and rally around the causes that pertain to people of color. But what happens is we have a tendency to want to be so much like white folks and be accepted by them that we will turn our backs on our causes because it's not affecting you directly anymore. You have reached a plateau where you're able to afford to do shit white folks can do, right? So you feel like you're on their level. So you want to represent the same causes they represent as rich white people.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So all of your interests are the same as theirs because now you about that money, right? But at the end of the day, if you take all of the richest people in the world and you put them all in the same room, right? And you that nigga that's in that room, they all gonna be plotting on your ass.
Right.
You know, and you'll only be used as a pawn to better them, not you.
Yeah.
And you can go in their house and sit at their table and eat their food, and everything that you drink out of or touch, they're gonna throw it in the garbage when you leave.
Yeah.
They're gonna sell their house if you move next to them. They only want to buy whatever you have and have sole ownership of it, and might just let you keep your face on it so other black folks can still recognize it as being black owned, but you sold it to the white guy. Remember when we was kids and we used to take out jeans and put the dye on it?
Yeah.
Strings on the side and make all these crazy designs.
Yeah.
And our parents used to tell us how we was fucking up the clothes and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And we created a fashion style that to this day, white folks have taken it, flipped it around, and those same jeans we was making for no money, they selling to us for $1,000. And our dumbasses is buying them.
Yeah. I remember back in the day, I think something about some jeans. I came home with some ripped up jeans or something. My mother was like, you can go in there and just get a little razor blade, cut up some jeans and keep it pushing. You ain't got to spend that kind of money for some ripped up jeans.
We used to make them jeans. We used to take the bleach, put it on the jeans and rub it. So we have the bleached out about the thigh.
Yeah.
And then take some of the thread out. So we have like that look. We used to make that shit.
Yeah. Let me read some comment. They go on. Also, we would do better if we chose our black leaders rather than the media choosing them. Absolutely. Loving God said a world where all races love each other respectively is always more interesting than a selfish racial world. Absolutely. Let's see. Vanessa said, look at Black Wall Street history. The ATL has a Black Wall Street site in Lithonia, Georgia, and it's all black owned and flourishing. Wow. I'm glad you told me that. I'm gonna look that up. That's what's up. Yolanda says, "Oh my God, we definitely need leadership, strong Black leadership, someone to have our voice and a whole lot of power to know and feel what we're experiencing in our lives, the injustices, the negativities." Yeah. You know what's so funny, Norm? I know you want to say something. Norm, I wish I would have spoke to you earlier. I would have invited you because you know. Well, Norm, let me just put it out there. The Olive Branch. Anytime you want to come on, just let me know on a Wednesday if you want to join in the family and you here because you are the family. So uh, I didn't reach out to you there. I apologize for that. Um, like Sylvia said, hate is taught. You know, Nick Warren said, you know, everybody wants to fit in. You know, try to fit in and get in. To be outspoken, be that lone wolf. It is what it is. You can be out there. I mean, especially in certain positions, people will set you up for failure, man. So people will definitely set you up for you not to win. You know, especially if you're not in a position of power. You know, it's one thing to be on a straight plane. Like I said, there's a person right now. We don't speak because he was a supervisor and he did something I didn't like, and I went to the union about it. And after that, we ain't speak. 20 some years later. Right now, what can he say to me? We both civilians. You know what I'm trying to say? If we saw each other at a reunion, it would behoove him to say hello or act like he don't see me. Because if he say anything in the past, it's a problem. But you know what's so funny? They want us to be volatile, you know, so we can lose all our privileges. Ain't nobody gonna do that. Ain't nobody got time to do. Not touching anybody. You know, so it seems just like we're looking for a recognition from people that didn't want us. Why? Exactly. Malika said, "Thanks for tuning in on Facebook. Friendly reminder to like and subscribe to Real Talk Chronicles YouTube channel. Thanks. Absolutely. Thank you, sweetheart. What's up, Evelyn? How are you, sis? Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Richard Williams. I'm Bill Forster. This is what we do. You know, what is the solution? I mean, the bottom line is, what is the solution? You know, like somebody said earlier, I think I read it. Let's stop putting people in office that the media says. Let's put people in office that, you know, we feel are the grassroots. Do we need, Rich, do you think we need young blood, old blood? What kind of blood do we need in there, man?
Well, it's got to start with the young blood. I mean, because the youth throughout history is where the change was made. You know, the young, strong Black men and women were the ones that sat at those counters, that marched during the civil rights era. You know, we talking college and high school students.
Right,
you know,
right.
They say, we're not going for this no more.
Mm-hmm.
But we fighting to sit at the counter to be accepted, or to force someone to serve us food that we're paying for. Why do we have to force people to accept our money? I mean, that shit they cooked behind that counter wasn't even as good as the shit we was cooking at home.
That's true. That's real talk. That's real talk.
What do I want to listen? I was always taught, don't try to pursue no woman that don't like you.
Right.
I'm not going to try to force you to like me, right? So therefore, I'm not going to force you to take my money to give me something that's not even as good as what I already got.
Yo, that is some real talk right there, brother. That is some real talk.
So instead of us trying to be able to fight to be in the same room with white folks, or to be a part of their society and be a part of still committing these atrocities to get financial gain through pharmaceutical companies, tobacco companies, all of these companies that are spilling out poison to us, we're investing our money in. So you want to be a part of building prison systems. You want to be a part of companies that are going to countries like Africa and in South America, where people of color are being exploited. So you want you want to make money on the backs of your own people. Sure, white folks been doing that to us. So now to be accepted, to be in their circle, oh yeah, I'm down with that now. You know, I'm getting that money like they getting it. You know, I got a record label, right? I'm getting money off my artists, and my artists are spitting out lyrics that are destroying the very fabric of our community, you know, because they only want to hear that shit. The companies are telling you, yo, put that artist out there saying, kill a nigga. You know what I mean? Not love a nigga, kill a nigga.
Yeah,
Make money off of that. You're willing to do that. You're willing to continue that cycle of this whole narrative that we ain't shit, you know? Old school rap in its inception was about just putting out there what the society is doing to us.
Yeah.
That message has been destroyed in rap now. It's all about talking about Percocet, you know, and gang shit, you know.
Yeah.
And the gat and how many bodies you got, bodies of your own people. This is the message that's popular. Yeah. I mean, and there's subliminal messages all around us every day. Posters, the way we get followed in a store, right? The way it's like the Chinese water torture.
Yeah,
it's just a drop, you know. But that shit is torture, because psychologically and mentally it wears you down, it beats you down, and then everybody's watching. Well, it's just a drop. Yeah, motherfucker. But this drop has been hitting me in my fucking head my whole life.
I'm tired of it, right?
Head your whole life. But you looking from the outside saying, well, what the fuck is you complaining about? It's just a drop.
Yeah.
You know? And we got to wake up. We got to start treating each other better. I expect the treatment that I'm getting from these other folks. You know, I expect that. But what bothers me is when we start talking about us like we ain't shit.
Yeah.
When we start convincing ourselves that whatever's happening to us is our own fault, that's the problem for me. Because it's not. The fault is us not recognizing that there's a system in place by those people to keep us right where we are. And they're using our own people as pawns now, as keepers of the gate.
Yeah, the gatekeepers. Yeah.
They ain't got to watch us no more. They got niggas watching niggas.
Yeah. Let me read some comments real quick. Everybody that's Real Talk Chronicles, please subscribe to it, like it, share it. Rich Williams, Dropping Science. I'm your host, Bill Forster, too. Sylvia said she said everyone in office needs to be out. Vanessa also says they will never validate us unless they can capitalize on the profits. Sylvia said, if you don't want to serve me, I'm out. There's no telling what you're going to do to my food. Absolutely. I dare somebody now, you'll be a fool. Sylvia, you're so right. To go to a restaurant now and not get the service you want. I'd be like, what? I'm out of here. Because you know what? And then I'm a blasted on social media. And shame on anybody.
I got to take a commercial break real quick.
Go ahead, brother. Yeah, absolutely. So everybody, like Sylvia said, he said, if you don't want to serve me, I'm out. Norm, this is an excellent question, and I'll shout this to the RTC family. Don't we get tired of seeing people that look like us get killed each day? I never seen a Chinese person eating pizza because they keep their money amongst themselves. That's a drop the mic statement right there. You know, we have to do better in killing ourselves. We would be you know what I'm saying, the most dominant race with African American and Latin American people. If we come together, we'd be unstoppable. Shame on us. Like I said, people still getting shot. I think over the weekend, I think there were 12 people shot in New York City. I don't even know what's the statistics around the world. People love negative stuff. You got rappers talking about this rapper or talking to this, talk about who snitch. Who gives a F? I don't care. I'm not going to jail. I'm not doing any jail time. I don't care. I can't get involved in that street crime stuff. You know, entertainment stuff, it is what it is. You know? So you say, and they get robbed. They're not making any money. Absolutely. Yolanda said, he's so right. We do have to do better for our people. Absolutely. Brothers, I have to go. Wife not feeling the best. Her MS is getting the best of her today. Love you guys. Love you too, man. Wishing wife, hope she feels a little better, man. Catching up, bro. I'll do my homework tonight. Definitely. Vanessa put in something. Thanks on the Black Wall Street. Rochelle, today is Wilden Jr., mother's birthday. Oh, 93. Thanks for sharing this topic. Absolutely. We just trying to share some knowledge and some help. This is the last time I think we will be here for the Black History Month, but still it's Black History Month every time we come on. Anytime I can talk about something positive for people of color, this is what we're going to do, man.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, sir.
There's a movie, right, that came out in 1995 with John Travolta and Harry Belafonte. The name of the movie is called White Man's Burden.
Okay.
And that whole movie, the whole premise is that they flipped society around where black people are in power and white people are the underclass.
Mm.
And they showed how in this movie, you know how they have these fundraisers for black kids to raise money and shit like that. They was doing it for white kids.
Mm-hmm.
We were walking around in our African garb, and all of the white folks worked for the black people. And it's a crazy movie, but if you watch it, it will show you that the same system that they used on us in that movie, we used it on them, and that it will work for any group of people, that system, if you're looking to have an underclass and get rich off of them.
Mm.
Like right now, they're trying to get people of color to side with white America with this whole issue about immigrants coming over the border from Mexico, right? These Mexicans coming here stealing the job, these Mexicans, blah, 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 blah. They don't say shit about these Europeans that are coming over from the other side. You don't hear them talking about none of these Europeans that are violating the same laws coming here and staying here. Donald Trump's own wife was a fucking immigrant,
Yep.
But they don't talk about that. Now, Mexicans, you got to realize that when they come back to here, they just simply coming back home because this shit used to belong to them.
Yeah.
They crossing the border of Mexico. New Mexico, Texas, California. All that shit belonged to Mexico.
Mm-mm-mm.
All that shit was prime real estate of Mexico. And if you look at the Native American so-called Indians, they all resemble Mexicans.
Right.
Or even Africans who actually came here long before Christopher Columbus and his crew.
Mm.
We've been all over the world from the North Pole to the South Pole. Every country in the world has been affected by people of color coming out of the continent of Africa.
Yep.
But the first thing people do when they come here, and I was on David Levy's show one time, and they were talking about, the relationship between Caribbean people and African American people, and Africans and African American peoples. And I said to them on that show, and he got pissed off. I said, people come here from other countries, people of color, and the first thing they do, they first order of business is to make the distinction between them and the African American. They say, "Oh, I'm not African American. I'm from here. I'm from there. I'm not them." They don't want to be associated with the African American because where they're at, everything gets spun and shown in a negative light that we're animals. They're showing to our own people that we're animals in this country. The same way they did in South Africa. They spun that whole narrative that anybody that lived in South Africa on the other side that had a good conscience, they spun the narrative that these were savages and we had to keep them in check.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing happening here. And I meet some Africans that always say, oh yeah, my country is this and my country is beautiful, my country, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, so if it's that good, why you here? You know? Oh, I got to make money. I said, but you're talking about the American way of life, you know, European way of life. I said, you didn't need their money. You didn't need that paper.
Yeah.
When you needed a house, you built it. When you needed food, you caught it and catched it and cleaned it. You did not need their system of finance. You bought into that system. So now it's not a need. You talking about wants. You want to be like them.
Right.
And in order to be like them, you got to fall into their way of life.
Yeah, real talk.
Because all of that shit that we do, they'll take them furs. Like the same thing they did with the Native Americans. They take them furs and they sell them. They ain't nothing to them because we catch this shit all day, every day.
Yeah.
You know? So now the house that you used to build, you got to pay another motherfucker to build it for you. Because you lost in your culture how to do it.
Mm. Yeah, let me read some comments. Yo, Nick Juan said Chinese running Africa now for resources. We didn't even talk about that politics with are we going to war with China and Russia and Ukraine and all that. Darren Joseph said divide and conquer. That's how it was instilled in people, and sadly we are not breaking away from it. He also said he saw the movie that you were talking about. He says very interesting movie. Vanessa says, brother, you are on point. My husband and I lived in Boston a couple of years ago and were surprised when someone told us the Irish are coming across the Canadian border unnoticed and not mentioned. Wow. Waldorf Astoria. Dick Warren told us, he said, Waldorf Astoria is Chinese owned. I would have never known that. Ty Butler, how you feeling?
Yeah, they sold that to the Chinese, man, more than 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, Chinese own Jamaica now.
Yeah.
The government of Jamaica borrowed money from the Chinese to build a railroad system, right? And highways that the Chinese will receive the toll money from.
Wow.
They're not even splitting it down. They're getting it all. Because it's giving them the opportunity to modernize their country by them being able to travel through the trains and highways that they're going to build. So to pay them back, they gave them the toll money.
Like Sylvia said, they dangle money in front of these young people, and they still see anything, and they will say anything, and it will make us look ridiculous. Like I tell anybody, Ty and I was in school. We were talking to the kids, and I said, listen, you sitting here, you idolizing these rappers that may come through the hood, that used to be in the hood or grew up in the hood, and they come through and make guest appearances. But I said, they have kids. And I said, their kids don't go to school in the hood. They go to private schools. They go to schools, boarding schools, you know, sitting next to the white kids in the best schools. But they come back into the hood and they just feeding you a whole lot of, I'm that dude and thug life and all that nonsense. But soon they go home, I bet you they turn their music down and drive into their cul-de-sac and pull out their garbage on Wednesday nights. You know what I'm saying? And they recycle on Tuesdays or whatever it is. So listen, people.
We got to start making it more attractive for our athletes to go to HBCUs as opposed to the UCLAs and the Dukes and all that. Fuck them. You know, send them to HBCUs. Start spending your money on creating your own public school system that reflects us, right? And start teaching that curriculum.
Yeah.
And start developing, because white kids in their schools, they're taught, you know, Wall Street. You know, they taught how to go into the stock market. You know, they're teaching them finances. They're not teaching them go to college, get a degree, and work for a white man. You know, they're not teaching that. They're teaching them business. They're teaching them, really trying to teach them how to walk into the business that's already been established by their own parents.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they're doing with them. And once we start developing our own public schools, like these charter schools that are popping up. Okay, pop up, but let them be black schools.
Yeah.
You know, why not? You know, you white folks want your own school, go ahead. You know, we over here, and we got to start investing in these public schools, because you got a lot of public schools in the city that look like private schools.
Yeah.
Because the kids that go there, parents are rich. So they invest their money into that particular school. Right? Just
Sure.
like Central Park. They call it a conservatory, right? It's a city park. But because it gets private funds, they turn it into a conservatory, they got a board, and they all discuss what can and cannot happen in this park. But it's still a public park. But it's in the neighborhood of affluent, rich people.
Absolutely. Yeah. Right.
So once we start investing in the community around us, because the first order of business when we make it is to get the fuck out of here. Right?
Right.
So just imagine, just like John Lennon said, imagine if everybody that made something of themselves would pitch a tent right where they at, look around them and start buying shit up. Right where you at.
Right.
That building, I'm buying that. Right? That school, I'm building that.
Real
Create
talk.
your own security and police in your neighborhood. Jews do it.
Yeah.
They got it downtown. They got it in fucking Crown Heights. These motherfuckers got their own fucking ambulances.
Yo.
I remember when they went down there, the marshals went down there to tow their cars. Them niggas tore their asses up. You remember that shit?
Yo, listen, let me tell you this. I've seen, listen, the Jewish community out there, they don't play. Yo, a cop was trying to write somebody a ticket. I think they jumped and beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, like you said, Crown Heights. Yeah, Ty said Crown Heights. Darren said, all right, Arena Williams was talking at the HBC Combine, talking about the issue on the NFL looking at HBC. Enid is in the building. She says it's a way of keeping us out. She says, Richard, and the same when they're giving a test to get into a public school, they gonna keep us out. They're gonna keep us out. Everybody shout out to everybody chiming in.
They can't keep us out of what's ours.
Yo, check this out. Enid even said, even singers like Madonna and Pink, they don't have their children listening to their music. Wow. Stefania said, she said, I heard Dr. Umar discuss this complete insanity. Yeah. Yo, everybody, we see the thing is, we know the problem. Yes.
We just sitting around trying to find space at somebody else's table.
Yeah. Real talk.
We're fighting to sit at their table.
Yeah.
Instead of being like the spook that sat by the door, build everything that we need to be self-sustaining.
Yeah.
That goes for the military aspect, the policing, the finances, the education, the health. We got to build our own hospitals. I mean, like I just told you, the Jews got their own ambulances. They don't wait for the city to come and get somebody if somebody's sick. They got their own trucks, they got their own cars, and they volunteer, and it's funded by them, by the rabbis. If a motherfucker comes from Israel that ain't got nothing going for himself, he goes to the rabbi and he says, okay, what can you do? Oh, you could bake, you could sew, you could do this. We're going to set you up in a business.
Like they were saying, like Ty was saying, Ty said they took over 3 precincts, the 7-1, the 6-6, and 9-0. Exactly. Williamsburg and Borough Park. And Enid said, yep, Lower East Side of Manhattan. Yes, also near LES. Yeah. And it's crazy because let me tell you something. And they can't be stopped. They won't be stopped. They will pick their own up on the highway or the street. I've seen them stick their hand up, their thumb up, and they'll run right over. They're not even talking about where you're going. We won't even want to pick up our own friends that we know and be like, they going our way. We'd be like, nah, I'm good. They're gonna talk me to death. We'll come up with an excuse. They're gonna talk me to death. They're gonna ask me to wait for them to go to the store or something. You know, we're a hot mess. Roscoe said we need to care about each other as Black men and women. It starts there. Absolutely. Nick Warren says 6-6 precinct, Fort Surrender, Borough Park. Absolutely. Yo.
Yo, the majority of the motherfuckers that ride the subway systems and bus systems are us.
Yeah.
You feel me? If we ever start creating a system where we could drive our own folks to work, get our own buses, just like them school buses that take kids to school, if motherfuckers start investing in those buses and say, listen, I'm gonna be parked right here and I'll drive down 8th Avenue just like the number 10 bus and charge you different, less than that, to do the same run, we need to support that.
Hold on for a second, Rich. Why would you say loving God? You says, Foster, you're being persuaded to not share my feedback because it speaks truth to power. Well, let me read your comments and statements right now. I think I speak on everybody that writes something. If I can see it, please don't blame it on the eyes. Don't blame it on the heart. Let me go back and see what you have written, so I can read it. Okay, Jesus Christ is not a racist and won't be when he comes down from above to set things straight. Okay, we agree with that. Sorry that I didn't see it and read that. He says a world where all races love each other respectfully is always more interesting than a selfish racial world. Absolutely. Please don't ever think I'm being persuaded not to read something. I just didn't get a chance. When people type in and the screen moves, and if I didn't get a chance to go back and read it, I apologize. Like I said, please blame it on the eyes and not the heart. You're an avid supporter, so I would always read your comments. Everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Richard Williams. I'm Bill Forster, and we got a few minutes left. Please, I appreciate all the feedback. If there's anything that you ever want to talk about, sometimes we got to look for the solution. And you know what? Maybe before we go, Rich, let's ask the question: how come you think we can't galvanize like the Jewish community does?
I don't think we can.
Or how come we haven't?
I think we can. It has to be a discussion about how we can do these things. We got to start somewhere. Just like I gave for an example, what the rabbis do. You come over, you go to the rabbi said, okay, what can you do? So let's put some money together and set this person up in a business, right? Now, if you are legitimately sincere and show that you can do certain things, why not invest in our own people and get all of the things that will make us self-sustaining? I mean, we need clinics ran and operated by people of color, right? We need schools that are ran and operated by people of color. We need all of these things, right? But we got to convince the people that look like us to invest in your own people instead of chasing somebody else's dream. Because no matter what you do, no matter what you say, you still Black.
Yeah.
I mean, you got some white folks that'll come out and say, hey, I don't believe in that shit that's going on. I'm against that. But the thing about it is, the minute they get tired, they still white. You know what I mean? When the shit get hot and heavy, they can say, you know what? This shit is getting too hot and heavy. I'm going home.
I'm getting out of here. Absolutely.
But at the end of the day, I can't. I'm still Black.
Yeah, right.
But if you're one of those people that feel like that doesn't matter, whether it's because you one of those people that say, oh, well, God loves everybody and this and that, religion is a whole nother topic that you could talk about, and how that plays into the psyche of how we make decisions on what we will and won't do to fight for our freedom. How far are we willing to go to fight for our freedom? I mean, you look in the Bible historically, it was wars. People fought, for what they believed in, and everybody wants to go and refer to the Bible for everything as opposed to have your own relationship with God You know, if you say you believe in God, you know, some people say, oh, you crazy if you're having a conversation with God, so you must be crazy. So I can only go by what's written in the book.
Right,
But
right.
the truth is, none of the disciples had a Bible. None of them. There was no Bible.
Yeah.
So what did they go by? They went by the teachings of God.
Yep.
Right? So now
Facts.
I'm not saying that to dismiss the Bible or the Quran or any religious book that you find, but before that, what did you go by with when you if you had faith in God before that book was written?
Yeah.
You know, and what you will and won't go for. You know, you got certain religions that truly believe that people of color are cursed by God. I had a couple of different people in religion tell me that. Well, you know, black people are the sons of Cain who killed Abel, and God cursed him and his family. I mean, his whole lineage, and he marked them by their color. So you got some people believing that everything that has happened to people of color is ordained by God.
That's why. That's deep. That's
Yeah.
real deep. I'm gonna have to get back, step my Bible game back up, because you're right. That's
but
been
that's if you falling into religion.
right.
You know, because people could argue all day, every day about Jesus being black, you know, as opposed to blonde hair, blue eyed. You know, they saying that the guy that painted all of these paintings of Jesus and all that used his family members as models. You know, to depict historical figures that were people of color. But because he was a white man, he drew them because they look like him.
Yeah.
You know, so all of the churches that we looking in, they got white Jesus up there and white Joseph, white everybody. Everybody's white.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like Mark said, we might have to bring the good pastor back for this one right now. Shout out to Kevin Graves. I think he in love now, so we haven't seen him. He been MIA. If you look at Kevin Graves' Facebook page, he in love now. They taking pictures and selfies and all kind of stuff. Shout out to Kevin Graves. Congratulations.
Hey, but Joe, on the real though,
yeah,
we just got to start investing in each other, man.
Right,
you know,
right.
We got to start buying black, you know, creating, owning, keeping ownership of, you know, changing our music where it reflects the love that we have for each other. You can still party with a nice track, you know, because like all these rappers now, you don't even know what they saying sometimes.
Yeah.
But you get a hot track and you can say just about anything on it.
Yeah.
I heard one guy just going, yeah.
And people was just rocking with it, right? Exactly. People, they jamming.
Yeah. But if you listen to the lyrics of a lot of these songs, they poison in your mind. They're convincing you how to act.
Yeah.
You know, there's a thing called subliminal messages. They used
Absolutely.
to do
Yep.
back in the days at movie theaters. You would go to the movie, you might have just went and ate before you, because we always did that, eat before you get to the movies, because everything in that shit is hot.
Yeah, exactly.
You get to the movies, and all of a sudden, you want a cold soda. You want a bag of popcorn. You want some of them Twizzlers. Why? Because back then, the frames, every clip, every so amount of clips would have one cold glass of water or whatever was at the concession stand. And when the frame flips, it flips so fast, the brain picks it up, not the eye. You know, your eye saw it, but it was your brain that grabbed it.
Right.
And now all of a sudden, you hungry because you just saw a sweaty bottle of ice cold Coke or some popcorn. So the subliminal message was there. The government had to step in and get them to take that shit out of there.
Yeah.
But those subliminal messages are around us every day, all day.
Yep.
In advertisement. That's why so much money is spent on a fucking 30-second ad.
Yeah.
They spend millions and millions of dollars to get this ad out. You know how you heard the song that you first time you didn't like? You said this shit is trash.
Exactly.
And then they loop it so much on the radio, you find yourself going like this to it.
Yeah, singing to it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know every word to this motherfucking song.
Yeah, yeah.
So that subliminal message has been banging you in the head. And that's what we're victims of in our society as Black folks. We're getting banged in the head with a negative message about who we are.
Yeah, yeah.
And we're believing it. But we're not believing it about ourselves. We're believing it about our brother and our sister.
Yeah.
They're just like us. You say, don't
negativity.
apply to me. It's them niggas around me.
Right.
So those messages are being bombarded in the music that we listen to in rap music.
Let me read some comments real quick. Yeah, like Enos, like Sylvia said, yes, everybody's agreeing with you, man. Sylvia's, okay, these messages are coming in. Sylvia said, yes, because we don't believe in us. Rochelle said, Enid, I definitely support my friends and my tribe, and it's huge. Enid said, yes, there's money in marketing. Vanessa Sterling said, in the spirit, they call it crabs in the barrel. Yolanda said, and yeah, the smell of that popcorn, oh my God, ha, ha, ha. Sylvia said, I remember those subliminal messages. Exactly. You didn't have to take long to decode them messages. Sylvia says, and not be haters. You have to be happy for someone who progresses. Absolutely. But Vanessa says, I totally agree. Change the narrative. Religion. Rochelle said, religion, spiritual. Shout out to Colin in the building. Ina said, I know. I said the same thing. She was talking about something you were referring to. Ina said, same with the Black and brown business owners. We will support Tommy Hilfiger, Michael Kors, and then instead of our own mom and pop shops, small businesses. Yeah, we don't do that. Definitely that. Sylvia said, when it's white, it's all right. Absolutely. Ina said, the sad, we need to convince our own to support their people. Sylvia said, why is it so hard to get us together? We need each other. Definitely. Ina said, yes, Rashad, I agree. Even the livery cabs, especially up in Washington Heights. Mark says, thank you for taking up for me, Mark. Evelyn said, she said, we need to support each other. Listen, we all feel that way. Loving God said, thanks, Forster. Some things I've written here are being sabotaged. I don't know what you're referring to. You can talk about that. I'm going to ask you this one question, Rich, and then we're going to get out of here. Mark says this. We could pick it up later on. But Mark says, Bill, I came through. Of course, you can throw it out here. He said, what do you guys think of the slam dunk contest? Do you believe that the white young man saved this event? It seems like the NBA is going in a different direction. You could bring it up at another time. But first, let me just say this. Young man played 2 games in the NBA. They just called him up from the G League. It's obviously he got some ups, whatever. He did some nice dunks. I put up a little beam about him on social media, using his name. I tried to watch the All-Star weekend. It is so weak now. I don't even know what I was looking at. The basketball games were terrible. It was disgusting. Everybody was letting the other person get a dunk. Like they need to bring back some kind of incentive. Like whatever side wins gets home court advantage in the championship or something like that. But the way it was playing, just start picking the best in the East play against the best in the West. It's ridiculous, bro. What do you think, Rich?
Man, they fucked this whole shit up, man. They adjusted this shit just for LeBron. He gets to pick who he wants on his team. Right? Now, traditionally, I mean, back in the days when we played, right, Bill? The best players guarded the best players.
Yeah.
The dunk contest was exclusive to the baddest motherfuckers in the NBA. Not any nigga that could just come up and say, yo, I'm going to be in a dunk contest.
Yeah. That didn't make any sense.
Ja Morant, LeBron, all of the big ticket players that are known for dunking on people, not just on a fucking, a trick, doing a pony trick. Those are the motherfuckers that used to dunk. Dominique Wilkins. You know what I'm saying? Vince Carter.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan. Kobe. The big ticket players are the ones that are supposed to exclusively be in these competitions. Nobody wants to see some no-name nigga come jumping out of the. Come on, man. Fucking Woody Harris goes in there and white man can't jump, motherfucker. Go in there and wins the dunk contest. Come on, man. I saw that dunk contest. Sure, he was a short dude. He was doing pony tricks. Okay. Let them give him a little bullshit contract in the NBA, and he try to dunk on somebody. They're going to slap his little ass down to the ground.
Yeah, let me read some comments.
Come on, man. I mean, I wanted to see niggas like John Moran and the motherfuckers in there doing that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. He said ain't nobody want to see no little Woody Harrelson motherfucker in there.
They walking around with this motherfucker like he saved the NBA dunks. Come on, man. That's some, that's some the Great White Hope shit.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yo, Nick Vaughn, that's why you said word. It was a funny meme. If you didn't see that meme I put up there, it is hilarious. I got to check that out. Yeah, Silver said, yes, back in the day, the good ball players. Stefania said, yeah, excellent intelligent. Ena said, yo, tell him how you really feel, Rich. Rochelle said, the question is, do we suppose support our people and not just talking? Yeah, we got to do that. The division, Stefani said, the division between those of us that see what's going on and those that don't will only grow wider. Absolutely. Loving God and said, and to add to what Richard said, that alcohol and drugs keep the people in escapism. Yeah, it does. Mark said, Chuck, it's just buff. Chuck isn't just buff. He's a professor of the truth. Absolutely. Absolutely right on, Rich. Yeah, because we don't believe it in us. Yeah. So, Rich, give us some positive affirmation, man. The grammar loving God. The grammar is sabotaging our people's growth. Well, that's a whole nother topic. I mean, grammar, everything. People talking Ebonics all the time, brother. Yeah. So, Rich, give us some positive affirmation so we can get out of here and enjoy the rest of our evening. And
well, I mean, really, the change starts with the individual. I mean, everybody seems to think that you need somebody else to create this change, but it has to start within you. You got to come up with something that you want to do that's not selfish, that's selfless. You need to start doing things that makes people around you better, your community better, just by small acts of kindness. And it's not about judging other people. Every day, all day, I go out in my community and I see dudes doing a lot of shit that I used to do when I was younger. And I don't dismiss them as being, negative and all of that. I look at them as being misguided. I've been in many arenas where people were protesting stuff and people were saying something that came across ignorant because they simply didn't know any better. And then other people saying, oh, you need to shut up, you ignorant. And I heard that once and I said, listen, to a sister, I said, listen, sister, if you got some information that you need to share, enlighten that other sister as opposed to talking shit about her, because she simply just doesn't know, So once we start educating our people and giving out the right information, sharing the resources, sharing the information, and it's not a competition between us to get on top of one another. It's about grabbing each other by the hand and pulling us up together. Because I'm a hometown favorite. I'm rooting for my home team, and that's my people of color.
Yeah.
I'm not rooting outside of my people. I don't feel no kind of way about the Chinese doing what they do or the Jews doing what they do. I don't feel bad about, what they're doing. But when we allow them to do it to us, that's the problem.
Yeah. Listen, I know what Mark was saying. He was saying Rich is not just a buff. He says he's a speaker of truth. And I mean, Mark has said that about you. It was so funny.
How come Mark didn't come on the show today, huh?
I don't know, Mark. He's recouping from hanging out Saturday with me. Let me just say this: it's so funny, man. They was talking about, like, Sylvia just brought this to my attention. She said the weed being legal. Malika and I was watching News One, and they did a dispensary downtown Manhattan, I think, like on the 20s or whatever, 20th Street, something like that. And white lady came on, so she said, "Yo, I don't want it down here. I don't want it here. There's too much traffic right now. Why can't they put it in the communities, Harlem and other places?" So we was like, "Whoa, just come out spewing it. Like, basically just put it in the black communities." Because when they see people of color smoking, they think of negative. And when they see other people, white people smoking, they think of college parties and having fun. It's a recreation. Even though they got the powers that have made it legal. But you know what? Our people still want to smoke on the corner. White person smoking in the house. He chilling. You know what I'm saying? He watching Real Talk, puffing away and talking about, he you know what the fuck you talking about. Now, you know what I'm saying? So we said, yes, sometimes we don't know all the information. Don't knock out or criticize, teach. Absolutely. So yeah, everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles. That's Richard Williams. I'm Bill Forster. Until next week, we won't be here Monday. We'll be back Wednesday. Give you some more authenticity, keeping it 100 like we always do. I appreciate all the support. Yeah, right, Enid? Yo, I appreciate all the support. I hope you all have a wonderful week. The rest of your week, do something positive for somebody. You know, I think you all are beautiful people that can do something. What's up, Sean? I see you, man. We about to get out of here. So you go back to YouTube and watch it and support it. Like I said, YouTube, subscribe to it, share it. Let everybody know. Mark said, "Rich, I love to support my brothers because you all, he says, the screen started jumping. Rich, he said, "Rich, I love to support my brothers because you all, I'm not ready for prime time like you all." But yo, as long as you keep supporting, Mark, that's all that matters for the most part. Darren said, "Great show, brother. Rich, call out, cut him down on the N-word." He said, Darren said, "Cut down on the N-word, Rich." Yeah, you know, he used to get expression. He get comfortable. He start talking. Rich let it all out.
Hey, yo, one day I'm going to come on and I'm going to talk to you about that N-word and where it originally comes from.
Yeah.
And how that whole thing was flipped on us.
We hate now. I heard it. Yeah.
All right.
And so, you know what? We could discuss that too, because, you know, I know where the origin has come. I've heard KRS-One. I've heard other people. I've even heard my cousin, who's a historian too, try to tell me about it. But I just think, you know, what my thing is, I think it's caused so much. It has such a bad taste in the mouth. Right now, I'm not the one that's going to try to change it around. You know what I'm saying? Maybe the next generation.
I'm not trying to change it either, but I'm not trying to stop somebody from saying it. You know.
Got you.
What I would do is educate them on what they're saying.
Yeah.
Because if you're saying it, know the origin of the word and what it means, right?
No, from a historical standpoint, I got you.
For years I was saying it, but didn't know it. You know what it really meant. You know.
Yeah.
And Richard Pryor, we used to say it all the time, "Nigga, please," you know.
Yeah, we laughing.
But
exactly.
You know, historically, what it was a word that was used to hurt us. So we started saying it to each other so it don't hurt no more. Like, that's a weapon you can't use against me no more. Right? That's how people was approaching it originally when they start calling themselves that. Because you're whipping me with something. And you know what? You're only saying it because you know it hurts me. So if I take that weapon from you, then it don't hurt no more.
Well, I think, let me just say this.
And that's what some of the logic is with some of our people when it came to that.
Well, I don't know where Rich went, and we'll pick this up next week. But I will say this. If a white person called me an N-word and punched me in my face, and a black person called me an N-word and punched me in my face, he still said it with the N-word. He didn't mean anything of brotherly love. I'll give you that something to think about until next time, right? I don't use the word. I don't like the word. I pick it up from the historical aspect of slavery. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let Rich come back and close out real quick. Pryor stopped saying it after he visited Africa, but he picked it up after Harlem Nights. Yo, so say good night to these people, Rich, and we out of here.
Hey, listen, I'm gonna say good night, but I want to task everybody that's listening to this show to find somebody or something or both that you can get behind and make better.
Right.
Find that person, that young man, that young woman, that business that you can support to make sure it keeps going. Find something that you can invest your time, your money, your experience in to make things better around you.
Right.
Don't think that this don't apply to you. I mean, we are only as strong as our weakest link. Let's not let our brothers and sisters fall by the wayside without doing something other than talking shit about them to make their life better.
Right.
So I'm just tasking everybody to just find that one person to make a difference in that one person's life.
Well, y'all can start tonight before y'all get off here, or when y'all get off. Just share Real Talk Chronicles, subscribe to it, and then you can share it to your Facebook page and let people know what's going on. Shout out to everybody. I see y'all coming in. Brian, what's up, brother? Yolanda said yes. Amazing show. Thank you, Stefania. Rochelle said, yeah, we need to respect where a person is at. I agree with you, Bill. Real talk. Good talk. Thank you. You said, yeah. Yolanda said, yeah, me neither. I don't like the word. Absolutely. Enid said, yeah, derogatory. Absolutely. Rochelle said, I do that every day. I don't talk about it. I do it. That's what's up, sister. Mark, appreciate you. Everybody, shout out to everybody chiming in. Like Rich said, get behind. Thanks, Sylvia. Thank you for the support. Like I said, share it. Let's keep building the content of Real Talk Chronicles and keep it pushing. Thank you. Peace, guys. Thank you, Stefania. She says, amazing show. Everybody, see you. See you next week. Love you guys. Real talk. Like I said, foster the moment with positive vibes only. All right.